Welcome to Neeks Sports Premier League Review. Third game into the Premier League season, Man United still top, 2-0 home winners to Leicester City. Fellaini, second goal offside, first goal Marcus Rashford. But a big talking point, I spoke about Lukaku. I said, yeah, I think he's going to get top goal scorer this season, Premier League, 25 goals, playing for Mourinho, he's done it before with Everton, etc. But he hasn't got a good penalty record. And Schmeichel had a good save. Even though he came off his line, it was a good save, and it wasn't a great penalty. Is that going to hinder him?
He needs to be more clinical with his penalties. I think he's good at them when he puts them in. But like you said, there's been too many ways he's kind of messed up his lines a bit. But for me, United have got loads of other players that could take him. People like Mata, you would assume he could probably take good at penalties. Like, sometimes if he misses the next 1, 2, you drop him, you put someone else on. Zlatan's back, so come January he might be the penalty taker.
Well, Zlatan was the one on penalties last season, and when he was on the pitch, Rooney was there. Even Pogba, I remember, took a penalty in the Europa League. I think it was his first goal for Man United. So obviously there are options for Man United. When we talk about Zlatan quickly, he's back for Manchester United. What does that signing, I don't know, what impact do you think that's going to have? Because he's not playing for now, but why do you think they've announced it now? Because they could have waited till January.
Yeah, I think potentially stop other clubs getting him as well. If they waited till January, he could have just said, "Oh, I'm just going to go to play in another league somewhere." It's possible. It's possible. I think they wanted to, Mourinho, which ones have it done and dusted. He knows it's a long season. He knows come January, he'll need the squad, he'll need the players. And someone else, like his presence at the club, can't be a problem.
Well, that's, I think that's probably the end of Man United's transfer business for this summer anyway. I think it's been a decent transfer window, and as it is, they're still top of the Premier League. Another big result on the weekend was Liverpool against Arsenal. 4-0 at Anfield. Absolutely brilliant result, brilliant performance. What are you making of this Mane, Salah, Firmino partnership? Some people are saying best attacking forward line in the Premier League, possibly in Europe. I know some Liverpool fans get a bit gassed, but what are you making of it? Can they do some serious damage this season?
Listen, the big thing we had about Liverpool this year is they don't have a main number 9, someone who's going to get them 20 Premier League goals. But so far so good. Salah, Mane, Firmino, the partnership looks good. It looks like Firmino may be able to hold out as the number 9 with Sturridge coming on off the bench as well. They got the young Solanke as well, so it looks like something that could work. But for me, I don't know if it's going to be enough to carry them over the line. I just feel like I don't think Firmino is going to get 25 Premier League goals, and I just feel that might be the catalyst for them just missing out in Premier League this year if they obviously continue their form all the way through.
Well, we'll come to the end of August. We're talking about strikers. Harry Kane still hasn't scored in August. We all knew it was going to happen. For those of you who put him in your fantasy team, shame on you. You need to know that. But he didn't score. Tottenham, they've played 2 home games now at their temporary home, Wembley. Lost 1 to Chelsea and drew at home to Burnley. This Wembley factor is real.
Listen, football is a mental game as well as a physical game. People say, they're a good squad. Last year they didn't lose a game at home. This year they've lost 1 and they've drawn to a Burnley who they would have wiped away at White Hart Lane. So you can't tell me Wembley's not a thing. The Wembley factor is a thing. That for me, they're not playing as well. Maybe they're not as confident as they were at White Hart Lane. The last 20 minutes of that game against Burnley, they were coming at them, and they deserved it in the end. I think that Spurs kind of dropped off and felt like they had the win in the bag, and for me, they didn't have it. And they weren't great against Chelsea. For me, how they would have been at the Lane. And the Harry Kane factor as well in August. Football's a mental game. Maybe he's got it in his head that he can't score a Premier League goal in August.
There's a lot of talk about football psychologists. Maybe him and the Spurs team could do with something like that coming in to sort out if it is a mental issue. It might just be form, and we'll see how they progress through the season. Man City, Pep Guardiola. There's a lot of talk about, is he the real deal? Is he overrated? They got very lucky against Bournemouth. He dropped Aguero, which I think was probably the start of his issues on the day. Aguero, for me, is probably the best striker in the Premier League. One of the best, if not the best in the world when it comes to finishing. You don't drop him. I know Jesus scored. Sterling got the 97th minute winner after extra time. But does Pep know what he's doing? 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 5 in midfield, 2 up front, 1 up. He's a bit of he's a bit of a mess. He's had two transfer windows, 2 pre-seasons. Does he even know his best team?
He probably doesn't. But Pep is someone that it kind of looks like he likes to play it by ear. If a man's playing well, he's in. Like last year, Sane came in and blew the Premier League away. Form dropped off a little bit towards the end, and this year he's going without Sane and trying to maybe a different formation. Don't get me, people like Sane will definitely come back in the starting 11 at some point in the season. Aguero will come back into the squad. Yaya Toure, for me, will definitely play a part, knowing Pep and knowing the way he likes to change things up. If things are not working, you might need a bigger player in that presence. But the big thing for me, Man City making a bid for Sanchez, maybe Pep feels like he needs a little something else. Maybe.
We'll see. It's been a very good start to the season. Off to the international break. Teams can take a little step back, assess where they've gone wrong or what's gone good, and hopefully push on for the rest of the season after the break. That's it from Neeks Sports. We'll see you next time.